In Fresno, California, Tzu Chi volunteers held free clinics to help the needy since 2001. A young volunteer in Taiwan shows that no matter the age, one can still do good deeds. Welcome to Dai Headlines. I'm Hu Chao. Glad to have you here. In Fresno, California, there are many farmers who are either immigrant workers or from low-income families. They earn meager incomes and do not have medical insurance. Since 2001, Tzu Chi has been holding free clinics here. Over the span of 20 years, Tzu Chi volunteers have held more than 1,000 free clinics.
In 20 years, we conducted more than 1,000 free clinics. We did it step by step.
This is one of the American granaries, but the farming workers are from disadvantaged families. Without medical insurance, if they fall ill, the entire family faces difficulties.
In Fresno, there are many farmers we call mobile farmers. Their lives are unstable. If you do not move around, or if you set up a clinic somewhere, it would be difficult to care for them because they can be here today, and then they could move to places that are hundreds of kilometers away.
Starting from scratch, they now own 5 mobile clinics. They also attract other organizations and hospitals to join them.
And when I was a young child, around 1st or 2nd grade, I was one of the children who looked at the board and couldn't see the letters that was being written. Lucky for me, my teacher was able to realize that I wasn't keeping up. I was able to get screened.
Having received help before, he wants to pay the love forward. This way, people will reach out to the needy.
If a friend calls you and says, "Can you?" and you hear the name Tzu Chi in it anywhere, please say yes, because it will change your life and the lives of many other people.
In Paraguay, Tzu Chi volunteers came to 2 cities to distribute supplies. In addition to providing food to a canteen and distributing anti-pandemic materials to hospitals, medical devices were also provided to hospitals.
More than 200 kilograms of grains were packed into a truck and sent to a local canteen in Cela de Aste to help families of COVID patients.
I'm grateful to Tzu Chi for bringing these ingredients every month. Thank you very much. Fortunately, we have your support to make hard food activities continue.
Tzu Chi has continuously donated anti-pandemic materials to the hospital, including protective clothing, gloves, and masks.
These anti-pandemic materials are of great help to everyone in the hospital, the community, and the patients. They're the materials we must use every day. They seem to be of little value, but their importance is very large.
The more difficult it is, the more we need to cooperate with each other. The government combines private forces to double the efficiency.
When the hospital requested the assistance of ultrasound equipment, they hope to provide more medical services to women and children in the community. Therefore, we invited the Tzu Chi Foundation to support and help.
In addition to donating medical equipment, there are also thermometers and pandemic prevention care kits. Taiwan can help continues to form a cycle of love.
On Australian National Tree Day, Tzu Chi volunteers from Adelaide cooperated with the local government, planting 1,400 saplings. Trees planted 2 years ago are now grown to be as tall as an adult.
Look, this is what we planted 2 years ago. It's quite tall. Sister, stand here. Look, it's as tall as me.
It's quite an achievement as the saplings planted that year are full of infinite possibilities.
From here to there, we planted them 2 years ago. To see them grow so tall today, we're very touched and happy.
On Australia's National Tree Planting Day, Tzu Chi volunteers in Adelaide continue to cooperate with the government. This year, more than 50 people are mobilized to plant 1,400 trees, and whole families were mobilized.
种很多树可以帮助这个世界，是一件很好的事情。
你们都很棒。
If we do something good, the seed of goodness can cause more goodness.
I want to bring them closer to nature. I can do some volunteer work as I think this is very meaningful.
This formerly barren marshland is now full of vitality, as many look forward to the big trees becoming forests in 10 years to provide shelter to our children and grandchildren.
The epidemic has impacted people's livelihood as incomes are reduced, leading to a sharp drop in donations for long-term care institutions. These institutions need even more support as more visits take place providing life-saving services. Today, we continue to take a look at this tug-of-war and how many people in Taiwan helped out.
I'll help arrange a care provider to bath you as part of your home service, and they'll also help clean.
After visiting hundreds of poor and sick families, Wang Ruofen finally took a vacation. Today went back to her home in Jiayi.
Because I have to take care of many other elders, I often come into contact with patients and do not come back to see you.
She is very familiar. When she hears something about the pandemic, she calls every day around the mealtime.
Her mother suffers from heart disease and her father is a liver cancer patient. The two elders in the family both use the government's long-term care resources.
Fortunately, she had the chance to get in touch with the government's long-term care program. It's very great. Otherwise, I'll be miserable as my wife would have to take care of me.
Opening his shirt, the father revealed a 29-centimeter long surgical scar.
My father had 1/3 of his liver cut off, so he also used long-term care services. At that time, the work I did was genetic testing for rare diseases. Later, I got a disease that was called sarcoidosis. At that time, I lost my eyesight for 3 months. There was a lot of physical and mental suffering. At that time, I said that if there were tomorrow, I hope that I can put some effort into caring for more people.
From an upstart technology company working in air-conditioned rooms to the long-term care worker under the hot sun, Wang Ruofen had to give up half her salary, but the happiness in helping others has doubled.
You must experience this part of life before you can understand how to help people. Going through a difficult time putting me near the edge of life was educational.
During the pandemic, long-term care workers must not only take care of the patient's livelihood needs, but also prevent themselves from being infected by COVID. Compared with the medical staff in the hospital, the protection resources of these nursing attendants are even more scarce. So every time they go to work, they have to be very cautious.
因为现在疫情，所以我先消毒手一下。别坐。你在家用什么方式做复健？
好像做监牢。
I feel like I was in prison every day in a room. Staying in this room made me feel like years were going by.
When he lied in bed all day, he needs someone to help him go to the bathroom, as well as take a bath. We want to stimulate the bones, nerves, and muscles.
3个方面受到刺激，蹲低哦，无力，来慢慢的，2，来举，5下就好了，慢哦，不要做太快，5、6，来1、2，来做5下。
From the bedridden old man to an athletic grandfather, Mr. Liu couldn't believe his remarkable progress.
I met such a good and so serious home care specialist, which makes me embarrassed to be lazy. I feel very happy to be able to do these movements today.
For families able to utilize long-term care at home, the help provided several days a week helps relieve the wife's burden.
Now I'm very happy because he can walk like a normal person. He's much better.
From the brink of death to coming back to normal life, these two elders now cherish the time they're able to spend together.
Professional care should be given to these individuals who need long-term care services. It can give our elders more and more confidence and help restore their normal life functions.
After the onset of the pandemic, great compassion has come in the brilliance of human nature. The long-term care system has given us a way to endure illness and coexist with COVID.
In Taiwan, Guo Yinian is 3 years and 10 months old, as he does morning Buddhist chanting at home. He also goes to Jingse Bo to listen to Dharma teachings. He collected donations on behalf of earthquake survivors in Haiti. Let's meet this young volunteer.
你现在要去哪里
？3-year-old Guo Yinian has been volunteering with his parents since little.
He's special, as when he was little, he would chase after Dharma masters when he sees them. He likes to listen to Buddhist music. He didn't know how to sweep the ground. I'll sweep them into one pile. Then he will put them in the dustpan.
Master, there are ants here. Some ants are here. Let them go. Yes, there are ants, so we should sweep lightly. Do not hurt them. Love living beings. I won't hurt sentient beings. I like to sweep the ground. I will sweep the leaves and pick up the leaves. The green leaves won't fall off. They will fall off after they turn orange.
He surprises me every day now as he grows up. I hope he can be very happy.
Joining the prayer before the morning volunteer assembly is what Yinian does regularly.
Today I listened to the morning Buddhist teachings, joined morning chanting ceremony. I hug the master. I like to do these because grandmaster and masters are very nice to me.
Yinian even solicits donations for earthquake survivors in Haiti. He's cultivating with kind thoughts.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll put the money into bamboo coin bank. May people's hearts be purified. May the world be free of disasters. Thank you.
He impresses others with words of wisdom.
Cultivation is the best choice for us, life after life. Thank you. Okay, I have finished telling my story. Thank you very much.
In Malaysia, owing to the pandemic, the theme of this year's National Day continues to be caring for Malaysia. The faculty and staff of Tzu Chi International School in Kuala Lumpur have prepared a series of National Day activities for students.
Although various ethnic groups in Malaysia have different cultural backgrounds, they influence each other, forming a feature of fusion.
Nasi lemak. Nasi lemak. Nasi lemak. Nasi lemak.
Nasi lemak.
Durian. Durian. Durian.
In addition to cross-ethnic food, when there are major festivals, all ethnic groups will celebrate together, and National Day is no exception. Owing to the pandemic, the theme of this year's National Day is still Caring for Malaysia. Tzu Chi International School in Kuala Lumpur also launched a series of online National Day activities.
Many students don't understand the meaning of patriotic songs very well. If they don't understand, they don't know the reason why they're created. From my observations, they're interested and want to take initiative in learning the songs.
In fact, there are two considerations. The first one is installation of knowledge. I hope students can understand the history and these important signs of the country. In terms of humanity literacy, we have organized fundraising and blessing cards, making activities, helping to care for the society, including healthcare workers and the people in need.
taking advantage of the National Day, support the country with actions of mutual assistance. Practicing positive discipline, nurturing the citizens with the core education ideal of gratefulness, respect, and love.
Uruk's Matia's son is a long-term Tzu Chi care recipient. He injured his spine in an accident 35 years ago and was bedridden and dependent on a wheelchair. Tzu Chi Malacca volunteers have been caring for him for 19 years. Originally, his mother depended on monthly assistance from the Social Welfare Bureau, but the welfare fund was suddenly terminated long ago, and their lives became more difficult. Fortunately, Tzu Chi volunteers delivered the grant in time, which made this family very happy.
An accident led Uruj's A.L. Muthaya to be bedridden with Tzu Chi volunteers accompanying him for 19 years.
He was a healthy person returning from Singapore. Then he was suddenly struck by a tree which injured his spinal cord and made him unable to move. His mother also fell and he was forced to rely on other people and subsidies. He also relied on friends for help. He's very moved that Tzu Chi has been caring for him all the way until now.
Losing his ability to work, he and his mother originally became dependent on the monthly Social Welfare Bureau assistance for their living expenses, but the welfare payment was suddenly terminated not long ago, and their life suddenly became more difficult. Volunteers offered to provide a little more help.
He's actually a very simple person. He's also very frugal in everyday life, so if he gets less than half of his income, he can't help it. But they must really have some difficulty. He himself said that Tzu Chi has been helping him a lot. He's too embarrassed to say this again.
I want to ask for help, but I'm not too embarrassed to ask again because Tzu Chi helped us repair the house and the rent is also from Tzu Chi. They've even helped me find a job and assistance with medications. Without your help, I would have a hard time living.
Therefore, no matter how limited his ability is, he believes he must give back.
As soon as I think about it, I'll put money into the bamboo coin bank. If one person gives a little, and then 100 people give, and then 200 people give can become a lot. In Malaysia, the Health Challenge 21, promoted by Tzu Chi Kara chapter, TIMA, and community volunteers ended. After 21 days of eating plant-based diet, the participants have improved their 3 highs in weight. Here's more.
What changes come with 21 days of plant-based diet? The health index clearly points out.
The number of people with high blood pressure has decreased. The blue color is before the challenge, while the orange color is after the challenge.
Through an online closing ceremony, the Health Challenge 21, promoted by Kira Tima and community volunteers, have come to a close.
My triglycerides has improved. It is not small progress, but big progress. I need to control my desire for food. It is worth it.
At those 5.5 kilograms, which is a big surprise for me, I noticed things that I neglected in the past. As we eat, we can mix white sesame, black sesame, nuts, and vegetables.
After having correct eating concepts, they'll naturally become healthier.
My cholesterol has dropped a lot. It is truly amazing. I feel that it is very good. There's oil, there's salt, there's sugar. I try my best. I stopped taking medicine for high blood pressure, but my blood pressure still dropped. It is now 121, which is normal.
Eating vegetarian food is good for health, but he must eat healthily. He needs some skills and some knowledge so that he will eat the right food.
After finding the correct method, one has to persevere in adopting a vegetarian diet.
Noises are everywhere in our daily lives. Were you ever bothered by noises, or are you accustomed to it? Vehicle sounds, road constructions, singing, talking, and snoring all are classified as noises. Academic Sinica and National Yangming University collaborated in a research studying the effects of people exposed to moderate high levels of noise, as 13 to 24% of the subjects will have a risk of having metabolic syndrome. Let's take a look. Laboratory simulations simulate a person snoring loud for the entire night. A person normally produces 70 to 80 decibels while snoring, yet this device near the pillow here can lower up to 10 decibels.
The platform has a speaker and microphone. It receives the snoring sound and does calculations to eliminate noise, then forms a silent zone around the head. No headphones required.
To most passengers on planes, the noise from the cabins often bother them. Studies from the United States and OISH shows that in economy class, noises can range from 75 to 80 decibels. CYCU developed a noise reduction device installed behind a passenger's seat, reducing noise up to 10 decibels. If the passenger has noise reduction headphones, the overall reduction can go up to 20 decibels.
Through playing music, wave sounds, or pop songs, we can reduce remaining noise through a method called noise masking. Now we won't hear the remaining noise.
Now we're at an anechoic chamber, a place where we won't hear any ambience or sound. Normally, when we are talking, sound will bounce onto the walls, then produce echo. But in this chamber, when a person talks, there will be no echo. Therefore, it is accurate to do noise reduction tests here.
After headphones reduce ambient noise, there will still be remaining sounds. Therefore, we must find another sound that produces frequency similar to the remaining sound waves. Another method is to use louder sounds, covering up the remaining sound with pressure waves. These methods are both methods of anti-noise control.
Sound is basically a wave. This wave splits into big and small waves, so if we can generate a similar wave with phase differences of 180 degrees, the two sound signals will cancel each other. It's like saying, if I have a rock and throw it into a lake, it produces a ripple. This is the first wave. If we throw another rock into the lake, it produces another ripple. If the two ripples cancel each other out, there'll be an offset of sound.
Academic Seneca and National Yangming University's research team uses data from the Health Check Center. Out of the 42,000 personnel from 2003 to 2015, citizens who are exposed to 60 to 70 decibels of moderate frequency noise have a 13% risk of having metabolic syndrome. Citizens who are constantly exposed to noise levels of 70 decibels or above will have a 24% risk of having metabolic syndrome.
If we constantly expose ourselves to high-frequency noise, it will stimulate our sympathetic nervous system. By stimulating the SNS, our blood sugar levels will increase. Furthermore, our endocrine system will also be impacted by noise.
Noise exists everywhere. Are you accustomed to it? Being exposed to constant noise will affect our health condition negatively. In the United States, Seattle, an apartment experienced fire hazards at 4 in the morning, as 3 residents were unable to escape. Tzu Chi volunteers in Seattle made visits to the local community, distributing supplies to the affected residents. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.